Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WHHS Channel 96 Sports. We have a change in scenery for you tonight as we are on the road, featuring tonight's contest with your Harvey Red Raiders and the Eastlake North Rangers. I'm Tyler Camiotti.
And I'm Logan Repko, and tonight is huge. The stands are packed for both sides. Two teams in the top of the crop, and speckled with some members of the media here.
That's right. Lots of newspaper coverage tonight as this is a big game, which is another reason why we're here bringing it to you. While we have a chance as game's just getting underway, let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Eastlake North Rangers. Number 0, Matt Wilson. Number 12, Drew Makar. Number 23, Dave Romeo. Number 32, Clint Nicholson. And number 50, Jim Finlayson.
And for your Harvey Red Raiders, we have number 22, Scott Aston, number 20, Morgan Lewis, number 34, Chris Crawford, 32, Julian Mangano, and 21, Andrew Booth.
And that's number 23, Dave Romeo, off the assist from Clint Nicholson. And the Rangers up 2-0. About half a minute into the ball game here. Crawford, nice look down into Booth. Pass deflected out of bounds off the Rangers. Red Raiders will have ball right underneath. Lewis to inbound. Kicks it in Mangano. Mangano trigger. Drano!
And that pushes the score to 3-2. 7 minutes and 14 seconds remain in the first quarter. And Tyler, one of the maybe the big stories tonight for the Raiders is that they do not have a size advantage. The Raiders all season have relied on superior height and size. Tonight, pretty much all across the board, that is not the case.
That's right. Especially looking at Finlayson, who's matched up against Crawford. Finlayson's even taller than Crawford, and you very rarely see that. Crawford, just a huge, huge force under the basket, and Finlayson, he not only has the height on him, but I'd say he's got the weight advantage on him also.
Definitely. He looks to be at least a good 30 pounds heavier than Chris Crawford. Chris Crawford, of course, an area leader in blocks, as well as Finlayson, of course.
Morgan Lewis with the ball on the breakaway. Tomahawk jam! Morgan Lewis telling everybody what's up right away. Morgan Lewis just getting everybody into it. And ball picked off by number 12, Drew Makar. Shot no good. Makar's second no good. Rebounded by Booth. And stripped by Romeo.
Foul will be assessed to Romeo. It stops. I'm sorry. Yes, that will be assessed to Romeo. That'll stop the clock with 6 minutes and 29 seconds. The Red Raiders in the lead, 5-2. Morgan Lewis has already given a lot of fans what they come to see.
That's right.
High-flying slam dunk, and a lot of people look for fireworks out of the Raiders. Thus far, they have not disappointed.
No, not at all. Morgan Lewis, I mean, that's something that you really like to see in a game this close is just, get it out there early that we came to play.
Conversely, the Rangers missed 2 layups, so that can't be a good sign if you're a Rangers fan.
Nicholson looking to dish off to Wilson. Lewis with the long pass down to Booth. Booth puts it up and on off the glass.
Good hesitation right there by Booth, and he got a nice fundamental too.
Makar down over to Romeo. Romeo up to Finlayson. Picked off by Aston. Aston pushing. And lays it up uncontested. So your Raiders up quickly, 9-2.
So the Red Raiders come out firing with the clock stopped at 5 minutes and 45 seconds. They're in the lead, 9-2. So really encouraging for the Red Raiders. And North kind of looks stunned, kind of like the Raiders looked when Edgewood came out firing.
That's right.
In their only loss.
That's right. North, they were the PAC champs this year. And as you know, your Harvey Road Raiders are in the running for the NEC championship. So this is a big game. Coaches looking to see how this game plays out as an indication of how things will go in the tournament. And if the game continues in the trend that we're seeing right now, it's going to be a very promising postseason for the Raiders.
Absolutely. And at the beginning of the season, we expected no less. A lot of fans here tonight. This stadium, I would venture to say, is a little bit wider and a little bit bigger than John D'Angelo Stadium. Pretty packed on both sides. But the Raider fans, I'd say you outnumber the North Rangers. They have that much support at home.
That's right. Especially earlier tonight, I was looking at the Raiders at the visitor stands, and Harvey had, at least 1.5 times as many fans here as the North Rangers did. Mangano's going to be hit with the travel. So we usually see at least one of those out of Julian Mangano just till he, gets in his rhythm.
Absolutely.
Makar down into Romeo, over to Nicholson in the corner. Matt Wilson taking the ball into the lane, fires from the free throw line, rolls around and jumps out.
So the Rangers, who've come out in a very spread formation, have not been utilizing it very well thus far. It's only yielded 2 points. It's kind of surprising. You don't see a lot of teams using kind of a spread baseline type offense.
Aston nearly picks off the deep pass. And that's Romeo firing for the three, no good. Aston comes down with it. Crawford over to Lewis. Lewis fires off back iron. Nicholson comes down with the rebound. Lewis and Nicholson a little bit more familiar with each other's games. Morgan came to a few open gyms here at North over the summer, and the two of them got to know each other. So, this is obviously a bit of a matchup. They're not matched up defensively, but both the stars on the two teams, and they know how to play each other. So this is going to be interesting. And Dave Romeo throws it up off the glass and in.
Time ticking away at 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Red Raiders on top 9-6.
Mangano loses the ball to Nicholson. Nicholson pushing, taking it to the hole, throws it up, no good. Aston comes down with it. Lewis fires for three, no good. Fouled by Wilson, and Lewis is going to the line for three.
As I was saying about the spread offense before, in a game like this, you never know when you're going to be able to finish your comments.
Right.
The Rangers are not using the stall tactic that a lot of teams use. They instead seem to be fighting fire with fire, which could be very interesting. They're basically just saying, this is what we got, this is what you got. Let's see who wins.
That's right. Well, the Rangers are currently on a 4-0 run. They've pushed the score to 6-9, still in favor of your Red Raiders. 3:55 left in the first quarter. So it didn't work for them earlier, but they've been able to utilize the fast breaks and put some more points on the board.
That's right. It's got to be exciting for the fans who, a lot of tactics you usually see other teams use is pass for like a minute, and then maybe try and get a good patient shot off. It's exciting to watch both of these teams play as they keep a very fast pace of game.
Makar loses the ball. Booth picks it up. Mangano. Ooh, and Mangano takes it to the hole, puts it up off the glass, and drops it.
Good authority right there by Mangano. He didn't hesitate. He just took it all the way.
He was outnumbered right there. It was at least a 3-1 defense, and he broke two defenders, took it all the way to the hole. Excellent take by Mangano. That's Wilson firing for three, no good. Wilson follows it up, gives it off to number 42, Dave Mason, new into the game for the Rangers. And as Scott Aston fights to save the ball from going out of bounds, it's to no avail, and the Rangers will have the basketball on the opposite end of the court.
It stops the clock with 3:15. The Raiders up 12-6 in a game that has already featured a lot of turnovers.
Makar with the ball up top. And Makar kicks it down over to Romeo. Romeo fires for three. No good, short. Followed up by Nicholson, and he's fouled.
Stops the clock with 3 minutes and 3 seconds, and Jeff Spikes is looking to check into the game.
Coach Hartman said that we might see Jeff Spikes a little bit earlier in this ball game, and they were going to try and get him in to combat Finlayson's size. Finlayson hasn't seemed to be hurting us that much, but they're bringing him in.
Chris Crawford really doing a pretty decent job against Finlayson at this point, but
right.
I think against such a larger player, it's good that you don't wear your players down.
Right.
And,
Finlayson currently on the bench.
Jeff Spikes, to this point, has played very well in big games for the Raiders. He had that huge game against Riverside, and he performed very well against Edgewood. So could see the same thing tonight against North.
And the junior, Clint Nicholson, hits his second free throw. Mangano fires for three. Drano! Julian Mangano's hot once again tonight. Very nice perimeter shooting. That's his second three of the night. And a turnover by the Rangers. Red Raiders will have the ball. Aston casually bringing the ball up just across half court, facing Makar. Mangano looking to dump into Spikes, picked off by Nicholson. Nicholson taken against Mangano, throws it up off the glass and drops it. And we're going to see Sean Carmody checking into the ball game. This is the first time we've seen Carmody in the first half, I believe. But at the next dead ball, we'll see Sean Carmody. And he's coming in to replace Booth.
That's right, and wow, coach is obviously going with a little bit different strategy. Not sure exactly what's going on, but I don't know. A lot of people I like seeing Sean Carmody come on the court just because he hustles.
Right, yeah.
Not what you expected, but certainly interesting.
Matt Wilson with the ball in the wing, kicks it down into Mason. And Carmody's quickly hit with the foul on Nicholson.
That'll be the third foul of the night for the Harvey Red Raiders, who are up 15-10, 2 minutes and 3 seconds in the first quarter. Rangers have 2 fouls, 2 team fouls.
And that was Matt Wilson firing from deep. Fouled on the shot, going to the line. I'm not sure if he'll be getting 2 or 3. Shooting 3.
Jeff Spikes hustling to contend the shot, and by the looks of it, just couldn't slow down that train in time.
Matt Wilson fouled in the act of shooting a 3, will get 3 shots.
So if Wilson is successful on all 3 attempts, he'll bring the score within 2. Your Raiders on top currently 15-11 on just under 2 minutes left in the first quarter. And 2 for 2 is Wilson at the line right now. And he's perfect.
So a lot of games it's kind of a moot point for the Red Raiders, but foul shooting looks like it will play a big part in this game. North Rangers are converting on theirs and keeping the game close. A lot of games the Raiders just blow their opponents out, but they have to hit their free throws if they want to win this game.
Right. You know, if the Raiders execute, if they play, you know, as hard as they can, then that's the key to their victories. Jeff Spikes has the open ball under the basket and puts it up and in.
Good look by Morgan Lewis and good athleticism by Spikes to get the ball and just throw it in.
Nicholson showing off his athleticism right there, throwing it off the glass. Julian Mangano kicks it out to Aston. Back into Mangano, back out to Aston. Aston fires. Off back iron, tipped up by Booth. And jump ball called as Mason was fighting for the ball. It's going to stay on Harvey's end of the court.
So minute 19 now. Red Raiders up 17-15.
Morgan Lewis looking for Spikes. Spikes kicks it out to Mangano. Back into Spikes, who throws it up, and no good. Mangano follows it. Throws it up off the glass. And Mangano's going to the line to shoot 2.
And Jeff Spikes, not featured in the play, but he's looking a little wobbly out on the court. And that last thing I noticed, he kind of tripped and fell as he did against contending the three-point when he got his foul, too.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe something is going on with his ankle or what that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's had problems with his ankles before.
Might be something of concern for the coaches, so we'll keep an eye on that if
That's right.
things like that continue to happen. Might have just lost his balance, you know.
Right.
It's just when a player like of his caliber might be hurt, you got to watch that.
Right. Mangano connects on his first. Raiders up by 3, 18-15, 1:10 left in the first quarter. And Mangano's second, also good.
So Mangano, who's almost always good on his free throws, doesn't break form right there.
Nicholson pulls up from deep. Booth connects on the fast break.
21-15 now, 53 seconds remain in the first quarter.
Ball high in the air. Lewis and Nicholson both went up for it, and no one really came away with it. Makar kicks it way out to Matt Wilson. And personal call called on Jeff Spikes.
That's his second of the night, team fourth.
Crawford on his way to the scores desk. He'll be checking back in.
Fans not pleased with that call, at least on the Harvey side.
Nor were the coaches.
Looked a lot like an up and down to well, pretty much everybody.
So Crawford in to give Spikes a break to compose himself, cool down. Crawford and Booth down low for the Raiders.
Still 37 seconds left on the clock, so whichever team gets the ball will probably not play for the last shot. 21 to 16 now.
Mason hits a second. Scott Aston kicks it over to Morgan Lewis, taking a baseline. And a travel called. Wilson inbounds to Makar. Makar walking it up against Aston. Makar has the height advantage on Aston, and he's still quick, but I think Scott, just the way Scott plays, he's just very quick in everything he does. It's hard to tell where he's going to go next. That's going to be very effective against Makar, I think. Aston comes up with it, and before Harvey can get a shot off, that ends the first quarter. Your Harvey Red Raiders on top by 5, score of 21 to 16.
And while we have a chance, why don't we take our first look at our sponsors? We're on the road, but our sponsors never move.
We have Mike Rowan Concrete, 919 Skinner.
Fisher Building and Interior, 66 Hussard Street.
Flame and Grill, 1444 Menor Avenue.
Next, we have McMillan Builders Supply Incorporated, 505 Liberty Street.
Lou's Reliable Heat and Air Conditioning at 616 High Street.
Palutro Insurance, 161 North State Street.
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron at 65 Normandy Drive.
Next and last, we have Silvestro's at 470 Railroad Street in Painesville, 354-3851. For great food, make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe. So, good game so far. The both sides are playing hard. A lot of games you'll see the Red Raiders just making things like effortless. They're not really sweating, but I think they're definitely going to have to explore the depth of their bench because they're running hard up and down the court.
Right. And that's really what it's going to take. Coach Hartman was telling them before the game that if they run the ball and if they just give it everything they've got, that's going to be the key to walking away with a W tonight.
That's right. The North Rangers are a very worthy opponent, and Red Raiders will have to exert themselves in order to come away with a win.
Julian Mangano led the Raiders in the first quarter. He's already got 10 points on the board. Nearly half of the Raiders' overall points. And ball goes out of bounds. Scott Aston will inbound the ball for the Raiders. Pass intended for number 12, Drew Makar. Scott Aston down into Booth. Booth way over to Mangano. Lewis open for three, fires. Drains!
Pushes the lead up to 8. It's 24-16, 7.5 minutes to the half.
Clint Nicholson gives off to Mason. Mason fires off back iron. Romeo fires. Short. Aston comes down with it. He's pushing. Dishes off to Booth. Booth nearly loses it. Puts it up off the glass and drops it.
Continuing to do well. Pushes the lead to 26-16. Andrew Booth has just been dynamite under the hoop today. He's shown a lot of good different layups, really. Some hesitation, some double pumps.
Mason gives off to Makar. Makar fires nothing. Crawford coming down with the rebound. He's fouled.
And number 42, that's Dave Mason, showing potentially combustible temper. I'm surprised he didn't get called for a technical for slamming the ball on the floor.
We've seen technicals called for less than that, certainly. But it all depends on the referees and how they're feeling, I suppose.
Meanwhile, we're about a minute and a half into the second quarter. Red Raiders up 26-16.
Mangano looking for Booth, picked off by Mason. Nicholson taking the ball baseline. Gives off to Mason, and Mason's shot no good. Rebounded by Aston, so Aston's having a great night rebounding tonight. Aston dishes off to Crawford, and there's an assist for Aston, and 2 points for Chris Crawford. Red Raiders starting to take some control of this game. It's great to see.
Yes, they are, but well, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rangers run off a little run at some point too, because that's just the way the game can go. Score is 10-point lead for the Red Raiders, 28-18. 5 minutes and 57 seconds now.
Morgan Lewis fires again. This time they're only giving him 2, but certainly that was deep.
Morgan Lewis, 2 points.
Lewis is hot tonight. Matt Wilson pump fake, steps into the lane, and Morgan Lewis comes down with it. Nearly loses the ball. Lewis driving, loses it to Nicholson. Nicholson, long pass down into Romeo, and as Romeo's flying out of bounds, he calls the timeout and saves possession.
So time is stopped with 5 minutes and 23 seconds, and a good play, I guess, by Romeo.
Right.
While we have a chance, why don't we take a look at our sponsors?
We have Mike Rowan Concrete, 413-7513.
Fisher Building and Interiors, 350-3882.
Flame and Grill, 352-3000.
McMillan Builders Supply Incorporated.
Lou's Reliable Heat and Air Conditioning.
Palutro Insurance.
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron.
And last we have Silvestro's Depot Cafe at 470 Railroad Street in Painesville. For great food, make it Silvestro's.
Harvey making their way back onto the court. 5:23 left in the first half. Your Raiders on top by 12. Score of 30-18.
And Devon Johnson now in the game. He splits his time between JV and varsity, but I'm sure if they're going to have to use the bench, he might play a pretty big part in this game.
New on the floor for the Rangers is number 31, Lucas McDonald, as Clint Nicholson puts up the close 2. Morgan Lewis juking, kicks into Spikes. Spikes turns around, throws it up in the paint, and drops it.
Nice left hand by Jeff Spikes right there. You know, I played with him back in PBA, and he was kind of uncoordinated back at that point, but he really has refined his game and really took it to a good level.
Right. And North's big man, Jim Finlayson, making some noise on the court, puts up his 2. Lewis fires for 3. Rattles around, jumps off. Down into the hands of Clint Nicholson. Nicholson pushing. Nice pass into the open Makar. Makar taking the ball to the hoop and putting it up and in.
So the score is 32-24. 4 minutes and 30 seconds remain in the first half.
And Morgan Lewis has the ball in the corner, kicks it into Spikes. Spikes turns, throws it up and in. Spikes is starting to heat up. Looking, as Logan said, a little bit uncoordinated there in the first quarter, but he's turned that around, and you know he's certainly got his hands working for him, putting it up and in right there twice in a row. Nicholson over to Matt Wilson, who fires for 3. Aston spins, fires from the lane, up off the glass, drops it.
36-27 now. 3 minutes 41 seconds remain in the first half. Red Raiders still in control, but the Rangers not giving up.
And yeah, ball goes out of bounds off the feet of one of the Red Raiders. Out of bounds, and North will have the ball. Julian Mangano checking back into the ball game. Finlayson swatted by Lewis. And Scott Aston with another assist. Nice pass over to Devon Johnson, who puts it up and in. And And Morgan Lewis gets hit with a foul as he jumps over Matt Wilson. Oh, I'm sorry, that foul was on Wilson.
Wow.
Personal foul called on Matt Wilson. That's his second.
I'm not sure that that call was justified, but
Well, I do think that Wilson kind of deterred Lewis as he was playing some defense and put him on the ground. But the way it looked when it happened, Lewis was the one fouled, but the ref, he was closer. Call went our way, so I won't disagree with him.
I'm not going to argue with him. 38-27 now. Time to stop with 3:11, and apparently a time out is being taken by the North Rangers.
Your Raiders up by 11, score of 38-27. 3:11 left before halftime.
Why don't we take another look at our sponsors, those people who really help us to bring you these games, even when it's not at home.
We have Mike Rowan Concrete,
Fisher Building and Interiors,
Flame and Grill,
Macmillan Builders Supply Incorporated,
Lou's Reliable Heat and Air Conditioning,
Lutro Insurance,
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron.
and last we have Silvestro's. For great food, make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe.
Now, if you can see to the left of your screen, that's Mr. Klingenberg in the blue shirt and the blue tie, and he's sitting next to his wife, so apparently she's not too mad at him from our last game when Mr. Klingenberg said, and I quote, "I moved out of the way and let the ball hit her. I'm the worst husband ever." Morgan Lewis blocked a shot into the stands, sent it just rifling through the air, and Mrs. Klingenberg took it on the shoulder.
That's right. Some things just become legends. Mr. Klingenberg, I don't think you're ever going to forget about that one.
No.
We won't let
Not
you.
if we have anything to do with it. Aston with the ball up top. Over to Morgan Lewis. Lewis up top to Johnson. Stepping into the lane, fires. Nothing. Ball out of bounds. Under 3 minutes left here before the half. 2:57 exactly. Raiders up still by 11. Score of 38-27. Nicholson taken to the hole. Denied anything. Makar pass picked off by Spikes, but quickly recovered by number 31 Lucas McDonald. Turns things around and the Rangers have the ball again. And a timeout called by East Lake North as McDonald was facing tight defense by Devon Johnson.
So time to stop, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Raiders up 38-27.
Raiders had a bit of a slow start in the first quarter, but towards the end started to turn things up, and they've been playing with pretty good pace, pretty good momentum for the whole second quarter, and still up by 11. Same score, 38-27. Now just 2:37 left in the first half.
And coaches, you see Mr. Coach Walling right there, Todd Hartman, Mr. Starkey, and then you have Mr. Brubeck that round out the coaching staff, all of them working hard to help make this season such a successful one as it has been, though, of course, players, main emphasis, main reason for doing so well.
We certainly have the athleticism, but, we definitely do have the coaching. We have a great coaching staff that, any school would envy. McDonald has the ball, still not across half court, finally breaks the timeline, gives it off to Nicholson. Nicholson facing Booth, pulls up from inside, shot no good. And Julian Mangano looking to tip the ball down to Booth. Foul called on number 31, Lucas McDonald. It's going the Red Raiders' way. Morgan Lewis inbounds to Aston. Aston kicks over to Mangano. Mangano on the wing down into Crawford. Booth fires from inside, rattles around, nothing. Crawford comes down with it. Shot blocked. McDonald comes down with the rebound. And Andrew Booth's hit with the foul, so he's trying to get the ball away from McDonald.
So the score is 38-27. Time to stop with 2 minutes and 4 seconds. That is 15 foul for the Harvey Red Raiders, so they still have a foul to give. The North Rangers have 6 though, so next time they foul, they will be in the penalty.
Right. Nicholson, nice pass over to Mason. Mason cutting baseline and puts it up and in. And Julian Mangano fires. Andrew Booth there to follow it up. Bucket's good, and he's going to the line.
So the Red Raiders, with just under 2 minutes to go in the half, have really pretty much established dominance of this game. They have not let the North Rangers cut very deeply into their lead, and they're playing very well. Kind of surprising. A lot of people thought that this game would be very nip-tuck. I'm sure that the third and fourth quarter could bring something, but at this point, the Red Rangers are pretty much in a dominant seat.
Booth unable to connect on his free throw. Makar taking the ball through the paint, dishes off to Mason. Mason fighting up against Crawford.
Good defense by Crawford right there, not letting Mason get anything.
Nice pass from Morgan Lewis to Julie Mangano, who's cutting to the hole and puts it up and in. Excellent shovel pass right there by Morgan Lewis. And excellent finish also by Julian Mangano. Just solid teamwork right there. That's another thing Coach Hartman was talking about before the game, is that this game isn't going to be won by any individuals. And, if they play as a team, play with their all, then, it's going to have a good outcome to this game. The Red Raiders have done a tremendous job of playing as a team this year.
Personal foul on Chris Crawford. That will be his second.
Crawford hit with a foul, and that's his second of the night.
So both teams are in the penalty now. Both teams have 17 fouls, but this will be a shooting foul. Number 32, that is Clint Nicholson, will be shooting.
Phil Rogers checking into the ballgame for the Raiders. In for Crawford. And number 13, Andrew Vespa checking in for Andrew Mason. I'm sorry, Dave Mason. Nicholson connects on his second. Raiders still up by 11, score of 42-31. Under a minute left here in the half. Julian Mangano fires for the triple.
45-31, Julian Mangano continuing to be hot, playing very big in a big game for the Red Raiders.
Scott Aston hauls the ball down, and he's pushing.
Raiders playing for the last shot, it looks like.
16 seconds left.
Last year, the Red Raiders were so excellent at this. If they were in the lead with less than 2 minutes in a game, you could pretty much put it away.
And there's Julian Mangano. He's not done for the half. Fires for the triple and connects. Mangano's already got 4 triples on the night. Absolutely huge for him.
Yeah, that's really big for him and for the Red Raiders. Red Raiders up by 17, 48-31. Really looking dominant at this point. If they continue to come out in the first couple minutes of the third quarter, they could turn a supposedly close game into a blowout.
Definitely. Just looking down the scorebook, it's scoring is very spread out. Julian Mangano leading the team with 18, on pace for a tremendous night. But everyone's doing their part and putting the points on the board, playing excellent defense, and this is turning out to be a great game. Another thing, we're seeing very good officiating tonight. There haven't been too many questionable calls, and the refs just calling what they see.
I do like that they're letting them play.
Right.
Yes. And while it's because it's Julian Mangano's night, I think I should just say that in the last couple of games, he really has seemed to take it to another level. I know I've talked about Jeff Spikes doing a similar thing earlier in the season, but I think Julian Mangano is maybe starting to feel more comfortable. He did move here.
Yeah, he's really stepped it up in the last few games, and it's just looking great. He's 4 threes in the first half. It's just tremendous.
That's right. And since we have the chance and there is a break in play, why don't we take another look at our sponsors?
First, we have Micro and Concrete, 919 Skinner Avenue in Painesville.
Fisher Building and Interior, 66 Hussard Street in Painesville, 350-3882.
Flame and Grill on Menor Avenue, 352-3000.
McMillan Builders Supply Incorporated, 357-5822.
Lou's Reliable Heat and Air Conditioning, 616 High Street in Fairport Harbor, 352-0974.
Belutro Insurance, 161 North State Street in Painesville.
And Scores Fun Center and Lasertron at 65 Normandy Drive, 354-2000.
Last we have Silvestro's at 470 Railroad Street in Painesville, 354-3851. For great food, make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe.
So the Red Raiders just playing great basketball in the first half. Final score of the first half, 48-31. You know, very nice lead going into the half. Julian Mangano's got 18. On that, I'm Tyler Camiotti.
And I'm Logan Repko.
Stay tuned, because we'll be right back.
And we're back for the second half, just in time to see the inbound from Scott Aston and Julian Mangano. I'm Logan Repko.
And I'm Tyler Camiotti. And your Red Raiders are up by 17, 48-31. Tremendous first half out of the Red Raiders. Nice pass from Scott Aston into Morgan Lewis. And Morgan Lewis just cutting baseline, threw it down right over a North defender.
Wow, that looked really pretty. I don't know how that happened, but
what a way to get things started.
yeah.
And Andrew Booth picks it off and takes it the length of the floor.
So the Red Raiders continue their blitzkrieg on the North Rangers. It's 52-31 now. 4 quick points, only 40 seconds into the second half.
Makar kicks it out to Romeo. Romeo whistle blown.
Foul is assessed to number 20, Morgan Lewis. That's his first of the night, first team foul of the second half.
Romeo with the ball in the corner, dribbles out, gives it off to Nicholson. Nicholson pulls up and fires short. And Wilson going up to the basket, he's fouled.
So 2 quick buckets for the Red Raiders, also 2 quick fouls for Morgan Lewis. Still 52-31. The time is stopped with 7 minutes and 4 seconds. Red Raiders are still in great control.
And Matt Wilson hits his first. Raiders up by an even 20 now, 52-32. Wilson's second, short. Julian Mangano comes down with it. Mangano dribbling up top, kicks it off to Crawford. Crawford over to Booth. Booth over to Lewis. Lewis up top. Crawford in the paint, spins, fires, nothing.
So the ball goes out of bounds. It will be Harvey basketball, 52-32. Time is stopped with 6 minutes and 42 seconds.
Lewis into Aston, and Aston's going to be hit with the travel. Traveling is, something that's not quite plagued the Raiders, but it's definitely been the penalty that's been called against them the most this season. Wilson with the ball up top, kicks it over to Mason. Mason fires the inside jumper. Rattles around, nothing. Lewis buries it. Fires, nothing off back iron. Wilson has the ball, and Matt Wilson connects on the fast break.
So the lead is down to 18 for the Red Raiders, 52-34, just over 6 minutes to go in the third quarter.
I'm not sure who that was just there, but as Morgan Lewis was coming down court, it looked like the Rangers orchestrated a football play and blocked him. Speaking of Lewis, he's got the ball. He's taking it down court, throws it up,
He just
Foul
draws a
called.
foul.
Lewis at the line to shoot. He'll have 2.
So Morgan Lewis, who also shoots very well from the line, among the rest of his teammates, around 75%. We would expect to see him hit these if he follows his usual trend.
Lewis up and good.
And Coach Starkey, who's somewhat odd in his substitutions, in that he put in Sean Carmody and Phil Rogers with,
Right.
well, Sean Carmody especially with a relatively small lead, now playing it conservatively.
There was a nice follow-up on the previous play by Andrew Booth. Ball goes out of bounds, and your Wood Raiders will have it. Rangers playing a press now. It's the first time we've seen this tonight. Booth wide open, and the press is easily broken. Booth fires the air ball.
As I was saying, I think he's smart to leave his main players in right now, because if the Raiders can push the lead to 5 or 6 more points, they're really going to run away with this one.
Makar coming down against Aston. Over to Wilson on the wing facing Lewis. Wilson fires from deep. Bounces high off the glass, rebounded by Mason. And a whistle blown. And ref telling Chris Crawford, it's on you, big guy.
Chris Crawford picks up his 3rd foul of the night, team 3rd for the Red Raiders.
Nicholson fires and buries.
So 55-37, North Rangers cutting back into the lead. Well, still 18 points.
Right. Mangano with the nice look into Booth, picked off by Nicholson. Nicholson taking it through the lane, no good.
Nicholson attempting to be flashy, but it is not working. His finger rolls and little.
Chris Crawford dunks again with the 2-hand jam. That was powerful right there.
That's flashy. Nicholson missing a finger roll, that's just unimpressive.
Right. Big move right there by Chris Crawford. And Morgan Lewis goes up strong, and there's Chris Crawford again to follow it up.
So 59-37 now, Red Raiders continuing the streak. It's 4 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Red Raiders firmly in control, and they just keep getting a little bit further away from the Rangers.
Makar passing off to Wilson. Wilson fires for 3. Finally he rips one.
Wilson I like watching Wilson. He seems to play pretty fundamentally well.
Morgan Lewis is bouncing it in. That was an inside 2 for Lewis. Raiders up by 21, 61-40. 3:44 left in the 3rd quarter. Nicholson with the ball up top. Nicholson crossing, going through the lane, dishes off to Mason. And Mason was open under the basket. Aston gives off to Booth.
Jeff Spikes is preparing to come in the game, so at the next whistle, we'll see Jeff Spikes.
Lewis fires the turnaround jumper. Crawford is right there to follow it up. So Crawford's got 8, and 6 of those have come within the last minute and a half. Dave Romeo just all over the place on the defense. Morgan Lewis with a nice pass into Booth, who puts it up and in.
65-42 now. The Red Raiders have a 23-point lead. And a timeout is called by the Rangers. Well overdue, I'd say. The Red Raiders are really in control at this point. 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Harvey fans on their feet. They're pumped. They like what they're seeing, as do I.
That's right. It's a big game for them, and they're pretty much running away with it at this point. While we have a chance, why don't we go and take another look at our sponsors?
We have Mike Rowan Concrete,
Fisher Building and Interiors,
Flame and Grill,
McMillan Builders Supply Incorporated,
Lou's Reliable Heat and Air Conditioning,
Palutro Insurance.
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron.
And last, we have Silvestro's Depot Cafe. For great food, make it Silvestro's.
So looking ahead in the Raiders' schedule, this Friday they travel to Jefferson to take on the Falcons. And the Raiders pretty much blew out the Falcons when they came to John D'Angelo Gymnasium. And following that, they don't have a game a week from today, next Tuesday, but they have Friday with Edgewood coming into our house. And Edgewood's the only team who's been able to take away a game from the Raiders. So that game's going to decide the NEC right there. That's going to be a pivotal game for the Raiders. And followed by that, the Raiders play Riverside the next day on Saturday. And that's an away game at the Riverside Fieldhouse. But it's still close enough. We encourage all of you to get out there.
That's right. The Edgewood and the Riverside games, if you're the kind of person who likes crowds, I'd strongly encourage you to go to those because most likely those will both be capacity right there.
Capacity, and both crowds sure to be totally energized. Scott Aston taking the ball the length of the floor and puts it up and in.
25-point lead. It's an even quarter century. Red Raiders firmly in control, 67-42, 2 minutes and 21 seconds in the third quarter.
Nicholson fouled on the floor. Maycar inbound from underneath. North, too, will be playing the Riverside Beavers within the next 2 weeks, actually this Friday. And I believe that will be at the Riverside Fieldhouse.
So the foul is on Andrew Booth. That's the start of the night. Team fifth for the Red Raiders.
Matt Wilson at the free throw line. First, no good. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see how this upcoming Riverside game pans out for the Red Raiders. They're having their way with the North Rangers right here. And North was the PAC champ. We're the PAC champs. So, you know, if North had their way with Riverside, now Harvey's having their way with North. You know, it's going to be interesting to see if it's the same type of game that we saw last time Harvey played the Beavers.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time they went in double overtime, but they had really hot three-point shooting.
Right.
So you never know. Of course, there's a lot of intangibles in the Harvey Riverside games as well.
Right, right. It's just a lot of emotion that, you know, that you it's visible on the court.
Meanwhile, on the floor, there has been a technical foul called. Did mention kind of a rivalry between Lewis and number 32, Clint Nicholson. I think that that might be what happened. Something might have been said.
It was on Andrew Booth.
Sorry, it was on Andrew Booth. There was a lot of talking going on in the hoop, instigation from both sides. I'm sure the refs just heard or saw whatever it was that Andrew Booth did.
Right.
So time to stop with 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Nicholson will be shooting his technical foul shots.
Those two shots from the regular personal foul. Now the two technicals.
Nicholson now shooting for the technical. Hits his first of the technical free throws. And the referee's conferring about something. Just off to the right of your screen.
We'll see that visual in a minute. Right now we get to see Nicholson conferring with the referee. It appears he'll have one more foul shot. No, they are signaling that the Rangers will get it out of bounds. So 22-point lead for the Red Raiders still with 2 minutes and 8 seconds in the third quarter.
Makar with the ball. And Mason over to Wilson. Wilson fires and buries the three.
Full court press for the Rangers, as of course they need, being down so much so late in the game.
Broken nicely, and Spikes gets swatted. And finally Spikes is able to connect. Draws the foul, connects on the basket, and he's going to the line to convert to a three-point play.
And Spikes, who's surprisingly light on his feet, converts another 2 points. You know, Chris Crawford has really harnessed his raw power, and you know, he has good steps to the wing. But when you think of when I think of Jeff Spikes, I kind of think of an arsenal. You know, he has a little hook shot, a couple different kind of things.
And of course, his strongest move is when he just bodies up, squares to the basket, and puts it in.
Yeah, where he kind of steps around the corner and puts it in. So, two centers, very powerful, who still have somewhat different styles than Chris Crawford and Jeff Spikes.
Right, both very effective, however. Lucas McDonald with the ball in the wing. Over to Mason in the corner. Mason fires, rattles around, nothing. Lewis comes down with the rebound. Long pass down to Mangano. Mangano steps inside, fires, drains!
72-48 for the Red Raiders. They're rolling.
Matt Wilson steps into the paint, denied by Chris Crawford. Mangano dishes off to Aston. Aston firing from deep, short, into the hands of Clint Nicholson.
So maybe a little heat check right there, comes up short. Red Raiders will have to be content with a 72-48 lead as the Rangers possibly looking for the last shot in the first quarter, and the third quarter, excuse me.
With Mangano's previous bucket, he's broken into the 20-point mark with an even 20. Morgan Lewis with the ball in the fast break. You're cleared for takeoff, and he slams it home.
Nice call right there, Tyler. That was a takeoff right there. 74-48. Morgan Lewis has several dunks tonight.
Makar hooks the ball up and in. Morgan Lewis fires as time expires. High off the glass, and at the end of the third quarter, your Red Raiders are on top by 24, 74-50.
That's right, the crowd is on its feet. They're still excited in this game. Conversely, the North Rangers fans are just sitting. They don't have a lot to cheer about right now.
Right, especially, Morgan Lewis, he's taken every advantage to show that he's the better player than his rival on the other team, Clint Nicholson. North was hoping that, the North coach was hoping that Nicholson and Lewis would kind of cancel each other out, but certainly Morgan Lewis has just had a phenomenal game, and he's certainly played much better than Clint Nicholson. Looking at the team scoring, Lewis has 15, Crawford has 8, Julian Mangano, as I said earlier, has 20. Booth is the next highest scorer with 14, and Jeff Spikes has 9. Scott Aston also has 6, and Devon Johnson has 2.
So, as Coach Hartman said, it'll be team play all around, and Red Raiders getting a great game from Julian Mangano and strong contributions from pretty much everybody else.
So coming into the final quarter tonight here at East Lake North, your Red Raiders on top by 24, 74-50. We've got a fresh 8 minutes to look at. North will have the ball as Morgan Lewis's shot was errant.
Red Raiders already in the penalty, so any penalty fouls assessed to them will be shooting. North Rangers only have 2 in this half.
Right, they're in very comfortable position foul-wise. Nicholson with the ball up top. Mason with the ball in the wing. Up top to McDonald. And Julian Mangano fighting Clint Nicholson for the ball on the floor.
Jump ball is assessed, yeah, and it's
going Harvey's way. Morgan Lewis will inbound. You know, one key player for North is sitting on the bench. That's Doug Facemeyer. He's looking at a 2-game suspension. This is the first game of that suspension. He was ejected from the game on Friday. So that Facemeyer's presence under the basket is certainly not something that the Raiders are missing. And Spikes comes down with a rebound off of the air ball. Morgan Lewis slams it again!
78-50 now, 28-point lead with just under 7 minutes.
Dave Romeo answers the dunk with the triple. Romeo from the same spot fires again. Can't connect this time. Lewis over to Aston. So the Raiders have been very effective at breaking the North Rangers press. Chris Crawford has another 2.
And it's 27-point lead again, 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Good pass by Spikes right there into Crawford, and they got another 2.
Morgan Lewis pushing, pulls up and fires. Whistle called, and Lewis is hit with the offensive foul. Looked to me like the defender was moving with him, but
he kind of stuck an arm out there, so that was what the ref called it for. And meanwhile, Devon Johnson checking the game. Scott Aston stepping out. The fans are surprisingly responsive for being in the lead so late in the game, but that's what they're known for. They're very rowdy, and they're always cheering.
You know, while the Raiders do have a tremendous lead tonight, the gravity of this game, NEC contenders going against the PAC champs, you know, it's just a big game, and the fans are responding to it.
Absolutely.
McDonald inbounds to Makar. Makar into the paint, throws it up, and drops the 3.
So 55-80 now. The Red Raiders still have a 25-point lead. 5 minutes and 56 seconds to go.
Morgan Lewis down into Spikes. Spikes fighting for control. Loses to Nicholson. Nicholson, no-look pass over to Wilson. And Quint Nicholson looking to complete the alley-oop slam. No good. That call's going the Raiders' way. As foul's called.
So that can't be a good feeling through the North Rangers.
No, not at all. I mean, the Raiders have been connecting on their dunks like mad tonight, and right there, you know, they just can't.
You gotta, I think, pin that one on Clint Nicholson. It was really,
it was a good pass right there.
It was laid out right for him, and I think he's going to be hearing that one for a while from many Harvey fans.
I think he really just wanted that one to, you know, be like, yeah, I got game 2. But unfortunately for him, was unable to connect. Lewis, however, is able to connect.
Though we haven't seen any alley-oops tonight.
No,
but he has had a couple
tonight.
dunks.
Several dunks.
As Chris Crawford had one too tonight.
Right. Matt Wilson buried the 3. And Mangano gets the ball across the timeline to Devon Johnson. Down into Spikes. Spikes turns, puts it off the glass and in.
Spikes, who has a surprisingly soft touch. As I've said in this game before, he's very powerful, but he also has a nice short-range kind of a jumper thing.
And Julian Mangano unable to connect. The ball goes out of bounds off the hands of Morgan Lewis. North will have the ball at the far end of the court. And fans on their feet.
Scott Aston returns for the Red Raiders.
As Scott Aston comes back into the ball game. Makar over to Wilson. Wilson fires for 3. Nothing. Chris Crawford comes down with the rebound. Aston pushing up. Nice pass into Spikes. Spikes turns, throws it up, and drains it.
Good awareness of Spikes right there to know right where he was under the basket. Put his body into the lane and turn around and get 2.
Nicholson going into the lane. And anytime you're trying to put up a shot from the paint in between Chris Crawford and Jeff Spikes, you know, you're not going to make the basket. At the least, you'll get fouled.
Good luck. Yeah, I hope you have a rabbit's foot if you do that.
Right.
But Nicholson did draw the foul, so he's shooting 2.
Nicholson hits his first. And Nicholson about to shoot his second.
85-59 at this point. 4 minutes and 24 seconds. And Crawford is not able to come down with the rebound. It will be North Rangers ball. So the Red Raiders, next foul, they'll be in the double penalty. They have 9 right now.
Spikes comes down with the big rebound. And Lewis saves it. Nice pass down to Crawford. Crawford slams it again! Big night from Chris Crawford. You know, I think he really got some confidence in the last game against Conneaut. Crawford had a dunk, and now he's not afraid to do it anymore. He's going to punish you if he's got the ball down low.
That's right. He continues to harness his power, as I said, and next year he should be a very formidable opponent for anybody facing the Red Raiders.
And Matt Wilson can't save the ball from going out of bounds. Harvey's got it, and the fans on their feet.
Fans giving every player that checks out an ovation. They're really excited about this one. 87-59 in favor of the Raiders. Raiders are approaching.
If the Raiders hit the century mark tonight, that would be huge. Only 13 points away with almost 4 minutes left. I could see it happen. It's not completely out of reach.
It looks pretty likely at this point, actually.
Lewis's 3 attempt no good.
3 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the game, so Raiders could do it, as we said.
Wilson's shot no good. Follows it up and puts it in.
Phil Rogers, meanwhile, checking the game.
Scott Aston bringing the ball down. Gives it over to Morgan Lewis on the wing. Up to Spikes. Spikes picks up the dribble. Gives it back over to Lewis. 3:06 left. Up top to Aston. Aston taking it in. Dishes off to Devon Johnson with a nice behind-the-back pass. Johnson's shot no good. Finlayson came down with the rebound.
2 minutes, 51 seconds. Red Raiders still up 87-61.
Morgan Lewis has the ball again on the fast break. And this time he's fouled going up for the attempt on the dunk. And an intentional foul is called.
Wow, so flagrant foul will be assessed. Morgan Lewis shooting 2, and then the Raiders will get the ball.
That foul is on Matt Nicolosi for the Rangers. He's new onto the floor.
You know, you don't like to entertain the idea of an axe man, but Nicolosi certainly appeared like that's what he was.
Right there. He was going to stop at no cost.
So 88-61 as Lewis converts on one of his free throws. Mick Rowan checking into the game for Lewis, who, like every other player that's checked off, is drawing an ovation from the crowd.
Raiders 12 points down from the century mark. 2:43 left in the ball game. Rowan has the ball on the baseline, kicks it into Aston. Rowan with the ball on the wing, kicks it into Spikes. Spikes spins. And a jump ball called.
Stops the clock with 2 minutes and 35 seconds, and the Rangers fans are vacating the premises.
Right.
There's pretty much about half as many fans in the stands as there are in the Raiders.
And fans giving Jeff Spikes the standing O as he comes out. Now on the floor for the Raiders, we have Rogers, Aston, Johnson, Carmody, and Rowan. Finlayson over to Nicolosi, the Axeman. And also on the floor is Dan Howes for the Rangers. Howes with the ball off to Nicolosi. Finlayson throws it up.
Rogers showing surprisingly good physical ability against Finlayson, not letting him get anything.
Mick Rowan taking the ball to the hole, fouled on the drive to the baseline. He's going to the line to shoot 2.
Mick Rowan can be very aggressive when the Rains are taking off. 88-61, and Rowan has a chance to get on the scoring board.
That foul on Nicolosi.
This is the first game you will not see Mick Rowan with his signature headband. Just
That's
earlier
right.
today, he cut his hair and sporting kind of a new look. So you won't be able to identify him by the headband now. Ian King checking into the game.
King not seen much varsity experience, but spends a great deal of time on the junior varsity hardwood.
That's right. He tends to come in when the rest of my calculus buddies get into the game.
Right.
That's Rowan, Rogers, and Carmody.
2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes, fourth period.
And that was number 40, Brandon Bate, who fired. Johnson with the ball on the corner. Or I'm sorry, on the sideline. Rogers fires from deep. Rebounded by Finlayson. Nicolosi puts in his 2.
89-63, minute 35 left in the game. Red Raiders just everyone looking to pick up a couple points.
Rowan with the ball outside the 3-point line, kicks it over to Rogers. Rogers stepping into the paint, throws it up off the glass, fouled, and he's going to the charity stripe.
Rogers showing a very wild shot. He was under control, but it looked a little bit odd at first. But he is a pretty good basketball player, as I think I mentioned a lot of times. On other teams, he would definitely be a big contributor, a starter.
Rogers unable to connect on his first.
Still 89-63, minute 21 to go in the game.
And Rogers' second is up, and good. So Rogers is on the board. Raiders 10 points down from the century mark. Minute 15 left in the ball game. Nicolosi fired up top to Andrew Vespa. Carmody has the rebound.
1 minute, less than a minute.
Ball taken away by number 30, Dan Howes. And Howes puts it up and in.
So let's see if the Raiders get desperate to try and score 100 points. Not very likely, but they might just start firing away.
Johnson fired, nothing. And Rowan recovers from the paint. Johnson pushing. Gives the ball up top to Rogers. Rogers over to Rowan. Rowan steps inside. Dishes off to King. King fires from the free throw line. And Drano!
92-65, 20 seconds to go for the Rangers. And about to close the door on a very good game for the Raiders. Obviously a disappointing one for the North Rangers.
Certainly the highest scoring game we've seen out of the Raiders this year.
That's right. As I mentioned early in the game, the Rangers playing that very fast-paced style of game. And that really enabled the Raiders to get a lot of opportunities at the basket and thus to score a lot. Plus, the Rangers committed a lot of turnovers in this game.
Carmody over to Rogers. Rogers fires the final shot of the ball game. And at the end of tonight's game, your Red Raiders came away with an amazing victory. 92-65 final score here at Eastlake North.
The Red Raiders dominated in every facet of the game. The size advantage that they did not have did not face them at all. They came out really ready to play and blew away the North Rangers.
That's right. Just everybody on the team contributed in some way to this game. Only one person on the roster unable to put some points on the board, but you know he even still he even helped out the team in a big way.
Julian Mangano, of course, led the team with 20 points. Big night for him. Fired on 4 threes and just pretty much had another big game. Came out. So in the end, 92-65 was the score.
That's right. You know, the Raiders, slow first quarter, not quite as big of a lead. They were still in control of the basketball game. Second quarter started to pick things up, and then when they came back in the third quarter, Morgan Lewis had the just excellent slam dunk from the assist of Scott Aston just to get things started. They took that momentum with them all the way through the end of the ball game.
And you talk about Morgan Lewis's dunk, but Chris Crawford had a couple of his own. Why don't we take a look at one of his slam dunks before we go to our sponsors?
Here you have Lewis with the ball at half court. Lewis kicks the ball with the long pass.
Nice pass. Good look.
Down to Crawford. And Crawford just goes up strong with two hands, gets the height, and slams it home.
One quick motion. I like the legs going down there. Good jump, good height by Chris Crawford. Really authoritative.
Great job right there. Final score of tonight's ball game, 92-65. Before we go tonight, let's take one last look at our sponsors.
They really help keep us going, and we thank them.
We have Micro and Concrete, 413-7513.
Fisher Building and Interiors, 350-3882.
Flame and Grill, 352-3000.
McMillan Builders Supply Incorporated, 357-5822.
Lou's Reliable Heat and Air Conditioning, 352-0974.
Next is Palutro Insurance, celebrating 50 years of service.
Scores Fun Center and Lasertron, 354-2000.
And we have Silvestro's Depot Cafe at 470 Railroad Street in Painesville, 354-3851. For great food, make it Silvestro's Depot Cafe.
Great food at Silvestro's. Great basketball here tonight at East Lake North. Your Red Raiders come away with a stunning 92-65 victory. Highest scoring game they've had this season. Great night by the Raiders. On that, I'm Tyler Cremiotti.
And I'm Logan Repko.
Stay tuned to WHHS Channel 96.